Well, obviously, competition will be really good. I really, when you start watching Louisville on tape, and you go back and think about Chris Mack's teams, they're tough, they play hard, really have a post presence, they drive the ball hard, do a number of different things out of their offensive scheme, and that's the first game you're concerned about. And obviously, the field is very good with Marquette and Kansas, but you just worry about that first game, and then you go from there. And what I want to see us do is there's areas that we know we've got to get better. We've got to be much better offensively than we were the other night. We still have to continue to improve our defense. We still don't have all the rotations down that we want to have, and so that's something that we continue to work with. And I'd like to see us continue to rebound the ball at a higher rate than we are. But we've got to be much better offensively than we were the last game out.
Rick, what do you remember about going to Brooklyn 4 years ago, both that team and that tournament? And does that feel like a completely different basketball program from the one you have now?
Yeah, we're much different. It is. And going up there, and it seems like really forever ago. And but we are a different team, and our program's in a different position right now. And it's very much a deal where, and you guys have talked about it. I mean, you go back to a year ago. When we went to the Bahamas, everybody thinks it's going to be a Purdue Villanova final. It wasn't, and everybody thinks it's going to be a Tennessee and Kansas final. It's not going to happen unless Tennessee and Kansas play good basketball, because I'm telling you, Marquette and certainly Louisville are capable of winning that tournament up there. And I know that they have coaches that believe that. They have players that believe it. And so the team that wins it's going to have to win it, and there's no gimmies, and it doesn't matter if you got a number in front of you or not. You got to go win and play basketball games.
Hey Rick, when you look at playing Louisville and maybe Kansas, maybe Marquette, how important are these games to play when you look at the big picture of what you want to accomplish later on this season in terms of your ranking and seeding, things like that? Well,
again, it's not so much about the fact is, it's all important. I mean, what you're asking, I mean, these games are important because I know that when the committee goes into postseason play and start looking at your resume, yeah, it's important. So whether it's about rankings or seedings or any of that, the bottom line is that, and we try to tell our guys, and we do tell them that every game's important. And if you don't believe it, come March, you'll find out. And so you have to be ready to play, and every single night. And obviously this kind of competition gets you ready for what you eventually get into is conference play, but it's important. This time of year, basketball this time of year is really important. Even though people think it's the start of the season, I still don't think there are many teams yet that have totally found their identity. So I think that you're not only are you trying to win basketball games, and that's what you're trying to do right now while you're still trying to build your team's identity and things that you need to work on, but and you hope you can win some games while you're doing that.
Offensively, you said you needed to be better. What are you specifically looking for offensively? What's the focus been to get ready to go on this trip?
We need to move the ball. We're not, we're better when the ball's moving. We need to continue to be aggressive driving the ball and getting those opportunities. But we want to continue to run, and we need to be more consistent with that. But to do that, we need to get some stops. We need to rebound the ball. But what we don't want to do is deflate the ball. We want to deflate the defense. And the other game, our last time out, we just simply at Georgia Tech, too many guys were deflating the ball, just holding it too long.
Said the other day that you expect Lamonte back for this trip. Is that still the case?
Yeah, he's been practicing with us, and he's getting back. Yeah, he'll play unless something obviously happens, which we hope it doesn't. But right now he's been doing well, and it's been good to have him back.
Coach, Derek Walker didn't play in the last game. What's his status or status?
Same, he'll play. I mean, certain games, that can happen. It could happen throughout the year, not just with Derek, but someone else. I mean, but Derek he needs to continue to work like all of our guys. But as a coaching staff, we trust him. We believe in him. The other game we were struggling offensively, and when we think of Derek, we think of his right now more from a defensive energy type situation. We were trying to get guys on the floor where we could get the rhythm going offensively. But we believe in Derek, and we know we're going to need him.
Obviously, those Louisville guys are probably getting used to playing basketball a different way with the new staff, and but Chris has always been such a good coach. When you watch them on film, are they further along in that process than you normally see a team this time, or are they still kind of in that zone?
Well, no, I think when you go into a situation, I mean, there were players at Louisville. I mean, Rick Pitino wasn't going to leave it with no players, and so there's players there. But Chris is a terrific coach. I mean, he's been around. I look at him as being like an old school kind of coach. That he's going to adapt and do what he does. He knows what he believes in, but if he's got some things he needs to do with his players, certain things he's going to adapt to it. And I just think he's a really fundamentally sound coach that's going to his team will continue to get better as the year goes on. I think there's no question they've bought into what he's about and how he wants things done. And when you think about his teams, they're going to be tough, hard-nosed, going to defend, not going to give you much. Switch. They've shown they can switch 1 through 4, and will do that. And got a presence inside. They drive the ball well. They execute their offense, and so again, he's done it. Again, quickly, there's no doubt this is his team now, and he's got them going in the way he wants them to go.
Rick, what stat is more important to you, assist to turnovers or assist to made field goals?
Well, I don't like turnovers, and that's a big part. I think that goes back to beating yourself, and I just think that it's important you take care of the basketball, but that's also shot selection, rhythm shots, and so I think that you put the two together, you want to see assist to field goals where you're getting shots within the flow of the offense, because if you're doing that, for the most part, you're going to have the board covered the way you want it to go get the second shot, and but if we can show our guys, and we do show them film a lot of when bad shots lead to easy baskets on the other end, and it's turnovers definitely do that. And now we're playing against teams now that if you let them get out in the open court, and Louisville's very good at that. They're going to convert in the open court. So taking care of the ball would be the first thing I would tell you that, and that entails, like I said, not just not throwing it away, but it talks about putting the ball where it needs to be at the right time, and talks shot selection. There's a lot of things that go into taking care of the ball, but I just really believe that if you don't do that, you just put so much more pressure on your defense and makes it so much harder to win basketball games.
Just your recruiting class, each of those 3 guys, what are you expecting from them, and how much have things changed when your interactions with recruits since the team's success this past season?
Well, I've said before to you guys that there's not a better coaching staff in the country, and our guys have always gone out and tried to recruit the best players, and they'll always do that. But they know what we're looking for, and there's no doubt with this class that the guys that we have are guys that we know fit what we want to do. And we're excited about all 3 of them. We think that they're all going to make impacts quickly, and we'll need them to do that. And as we continue to build the program, we'd like to think that, but it really hasn't changed. I mean, obviously people will look at you more closely when you're being successful. There's no question about that. You don't have to maybe defend as much and talk about what we're trying to do. You're now can show them some things that have happened and where you want to go. But recruiting is never easy. I don't care where you are. I mean, it's tough, and that's why I'm just so much confidence in our staff that they're going to find the guys. And we've said before, we're not getting caught up in how many stars a guy has. We're going to recruit the best players, but there's so much more that goes into it than just what someone else might rate them. And so much of what we want is what fits our culture, and that's where I think we hit a home run with this group that we've got.
Rick, you mentioned wanting to be better offensively. I guess how much will Lamonte's shot-making ability be able to help you guys in doing that?
Well, I think the other night was a great example of that. Grant and Admiral were struggling, and sometimes you need that third guy that you can go get some things. And there's no question Lamonte has been that guy since he's been here, and so we did miss him. And I said that after the game the other night. That's probably the one game that we played up to this point where we missed him, because you needed to get something from the perimeter, and we weren't getting it. Jordan Bone at the end started doing some things where he got aggressive, started driving the ball, but that's where Lamonte will definitely, having him back will help us. Not only that, but what he does We need him defensively to help us with our rotations, but he will definitely help us in that area.
Coach, what are a few things that you talk to your team about? You've kind of been down this road before with big games during the season, almost the preseason at the tip-offs. What are you going to talk to them about? How to represent their school? What are the obstacles they have to go through when they go to New York to play in these big, high-profile games?
Well, do you talk about it? You do, but you talk about. We try to really, and I know you guys probably don't believe me, but we really try to treat every game the same in terms of our preparation. We definitely do that. Now, do we have to talk about different games with when you're playing against teams where guys think they can just walk out and play? Again, they've seen enough of that to know that can't happen, and we saw that this past weekend. But I do think our guys look forward to traveling like this time of year. You look around, college basketball is in full swing, and these tournaments are a great time in terms of you're going to get to play 2 games in a couple of days, where it's unusual that we've had a week off leading up to this game, but that's just the way it worked out. But the fact is, I do think they're excited. They have respect. I do know this from a coaching standpoint and from our scouting, that our guys are going to be very transparent with our players in terms of what we expect from the other team and what we need to do. And the fact is, we know that there's some nights that things don't go well. Like we'd been pretty good offensively, and then the other night we weren't. And when you look at the tape, and not to take away anything from your opponents, but you still go back and look at tape and say, hey, we didn't execute. These opportunities were there. We didn't read it right. And so the big part this time of year is really where would your players mentally be? Where are their minds? What are they thinking about in terms of, are they understanding, yeah, it's exciting to be in tournaments and do this and do that, but they still have to have their focus on the game plan, and not just on one end of it, but on both ends. And so that's where, as a coaching staff, you just keep working each day trying to get your guys, and we've got things that we've got to continue to really get better at a lot. And so that's how we go about it.
Hey, Coach, obviously Thanksgiving later on this week, and you got a Thanksgiving trip here. What are you thankful for this week?
A lot. I'm actually the first thing that popped in my mind, I'm thankful that last night I was able to go over to the Sevier Heights and watch 2 of our players get baptized last night, and see our team there and see the response of not just those 2 guys, but really thankful for the other students. There was 8 or so more students that were there, and what Tim Miller's doing there and what he's done with the students on his campus is something that really is very much to be thankful for. But thankful for my family, thankful for the God that I believe in, but I could sit here all day and tell you that I'm blessed, and there's so many things I'm thankful for, and actually thankful for you guys. And I know you guys got a job to do, and when you think about life and what we have right now, and I actually texted one of our parents last night and said wins are important for this and this program, but what happened last night with Kyle Alexander and Jordan Bowden was bigger than any win we could ever have, and I believe that. I really do.
Rick, would you trust Grant Williams and John Fulgerson to change a flat tire of yours? They've been quite the mechanics on Twitter lately.
When I saw Grant Williams, I actually said to him, I said, I'm shocked that you even knew how to change a flat tire. And he was very honest, and he said, well, I would have been in trouble if Folky hadn't have been there to show me how to use the jack. And I can tell you from experience, a week and a half ago, I was pulling into my house, and some car had broken down, and I pulled in my driveway and walked back to help them. And I haven't changed tires in a long time. I think I would have had to get a manual, but it's the first time I've ever seen a flat tire that you have to get the tire out. There's a jack, there's a pump that you have to pump it up, which I thought most spares had air in it. This one didn't. And then by the time you take that half turn with that jack, it takes forever. And I like the old way to change a tire. Just get a jack out, jack it up, and let's go. But I was impressed that watching Grant do that. When I saw that video, I'm like thinking he has no idea what he's doing. And but he said Folky got there and saved the day by teaching him how to use the jack.
Anything else, Coach? All right.
Thank you guys. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.